Welcome back to Trojan Sports Now. I'm Aaron Taylor with this week's interview, and my guest is new athletic director to Troy University, Jeremy McClain. Jeremy, welcome to the show and welcome to Troy University.
Thank you so much. Appreciate the opportunity to be here.
And of course, you are new to campus. Folks out there are excited to know a little bit about yourself. We're going to find out here a little bit about your history and your plans for the university. But first and foremost, how you feel about being here at Troy University.
I've said this phrase many times over the past couple of weeks, but just literally couldn't be more excited. It's a great opportunity for us as a family, for me in my career, but most importantly, it's a great fit for us. I think it's a great fit, hopefully in both ways. Obviously, I feel like the search committee felt that way, and you know, we're just excited about what's here. We're excited about the opportunity. We're excited about the foundation that's laid and what lies ahead in the future.
And what, I guess, attracted you to making this move to Troy? That obviously you said it was good for your career, so something you were looking to do eventually. But why Troy? Why this time?
Yeah, so a little bit about my career. I've been an athletic director before at the Division II level at Delta State, and then was at Southern Miss for the past 3 years, and definitely was something I wanted to do. But I wanted to find the right fit to become an athletic director again at the FBS level, and so when this job came open, someone reached out to me, but it didn't take me long to realize that it was the right fit, and so that has a lot to do with it. And then you just look at the potential that's here. The level of success from Troy from Division II days to 1AA, FCS to FBS, and really had success along the way. And that doesn't just happen. It happens because people are committed. Leadership on campus, people in the community, your coaches and student athletes. And so having an opportunity to be part of something like that and build on something like that was really a no-brainer for me. And
you've touched on the history and what we're going to get there right now. We'll talk a little about where you came from, sure. Your collegiate days, and your first gig as athletic director.
That's right.
Your alma mater at Delta State. Right. Talk a little about Delta State and how, I guess, that transformed you and got you in the position to start your path to Troy there.
Sure. I'm from a very small town in northeast Mississippi, a place called Hulka, which is much smaller than Troy. But had an opportunity there. I was a baseball player then, had an scholarship opportunity to go play baseball at Delta State, and it was really kind of life-changing is not too strong of a term. I mean, it really helped mold me, and that's one reason I'm so passionate about college athletics, is because I've experienced it firsthand. I know what kind of impact what we do on a daily basis and giving our student athletes opportunities, what it can do. And so for me, that happened at Delta State. I was there my undergrad years and had an opportunity to leave there and go play professionally for about 5 years, in the minor leagues, riding a lot of buses and eating bad food. But then had an opportunity after some time in the corporate world to come back to Delta State in a fundraising role for the university, with my eyes kind of focused on the athletic director position someday, and that process happened quicker than I really had anticipated. But there were a lot of people there who believed in me, who believed in my leadership ability, and put me in the right position there. And so had 6 years there. It was a great run. We had an opportunity to play for some national championships in football and women's basketball and baseball, and we did a lot of good things, and I loved my time there. But felt like it was time to make the move, and had an opportunity to go to Southern Miss and move to the Division I level, and was deputy AD, the number 2 guy there at Southern Miss for 3 years. And that was a great experience too, and in different ways. You learn things at different stops along the way, and I have had an opportunity to gain a lot of knowledge there at Southern Miss, and then when this opportunity came available, like I said, it was really a no-brainer for me.
And now, while you were at Southern Miss, some of the things that you dealt with directly, facilities is one of the big things that you had a hand in there. And so talk a little about some of the projects and some of the things you worked on Southern Miss, and how that's helped kind of, I guess, guide you to where you are right now.
Yeah, a couple things there I think that tie into especially what's going on here now. I oversaw football at Southern Miss. I oversaw the fundraising. I handled a lot of the facility projects there on campus that I oversaw, and so everything from new track facility to building a new weight room for baseball to a full-blown $40 million feasibility study and renovation, the beginning of a renovation process for a coliseum there on campus, basketball coliseum. And so all those things I think helped prepare me in many ways, just becoming familiar with that process. And then that kind of translates to where we're at now here at Troy with the opportunity the North End Zone project with the football project that's been in the works for many years, I know, and we know we're getting closer and closer to the finish line. So I'm excited about being able to get kind of jump in the middle of that, as I said, and be a part of that and kind of help shape that and make that project something special.
And now, how important is development and fundraising to helping build a program? Obviously the facilities there, but overall, someone who is in the development side of things, how crucial is that in making a program successful and viable?
I think, outside of outside of our student athletes and what we're preparing them to do and getting the right student athletes on campus, I think it's the most important thing. I just think if we're going to grow as a department, if we're going to provide resources for our student athletes and our coaches to be successful, then we have to be able to continue to grow our budget, create new revenue streams, especially in this day and age in college athletics. I mean, it's the nature of what we do, and it's continued to grow. And so for us to keep up and move ahead, our emphasis and our focus has to be on fundraising.
And of course, you mentioned briefly the facilities, and some of that work has kind of already been done before you got here. We've had some pretty significant upgrades here on campus with Trojan Arena, softball, and golf in the works. But the North End Zone is what you talked about there as well. But what does a project like that mean to growing the program, especially competing, maybe not at with automatic qualifiers, but just within the conference itself? What does that kind of facility mean?
Yeah, and I mentioned the term game changer a few times over the last couple of weeks, and I feel that way. I think that type of building, a North End Zone project we're looking at, which basically would kind of bowl in the stadium, if you will, will change the atmosphere of the stadium. It'll change the look, obviously aesthetically. It'll be an improvement. And then I think, more importantly, day to day, the operational piece of it for our football program will be such a huge boost from where we are today. And then the recruiting aspect, which cannot be overstated. Just having that wow factor, if you will, and people in our conference, the other teams in our conference, and programs in our conference are doing the same thing. They're building these same types of buildings and providing those same type of opportunities. So it's important for us to, like I said, keep up and move ahead. And I think we have an opportunity to do that with this project.
And of course, Ed, maybe not just football. You see facilities upgrades. Obviously, when you see a Trojan Arena, you see money being put into a golf program. Students all across the board, student athletes, are saying this is a program that cares about their athletes. So something that's going to help recruiting all across the board.
Exactly, and I think Trojan Arena is a great example. People may not realize that does not only affects basketball and volleyball recruiting, but when you're able to take recruits from other sports through there and show them what's happened here in a short period of time and express to them the commitment to athletics, you're right. I mean, it will affect our opportunity to recruit as a department as a whole.
And of course, we've been dealing with a lot of business here. Let's double back. I want to talk about your baseball days.
Okay.
You glanced over it there, but I want to talk about just a little bit of the history on your baseball days. You played a little bit of professional baseball. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, it was a great time in my life. I was probably many times probably the least talented guy on a lot of teams I played on, but I just pretty competitive and didn't take no for an answer. So I just had I continued to kind of climb the ladder there and got to that dream, if you will, of playing professional baseball. Just played in the minor leagues for a little while, and originally signed with the Boston Red Sox, played for them for a couple of years, and then finished up in the independent leagues, and had an opportunity to finish my career in Jackson, Mississippi, close to home, which was a thrill and an opportunity to play in front of family, which you don't get a lot of opportunity to do that in minor leagues. And so it was a special time in my life. Like I said, I had a lot of success in the minor leagues, but it was just special from the standpoint of getting to kind of live out a dream of playing professionally.
Of course, I think I've heard that Coach Smart is looking forward to having you out there on the field and maybe seeing if you still got something in there.
That would be a no. I think I used up any bullets I had a long time ago. But I will definitely be always anxious to when baseball season gets here and you see softball and baseball. It's always kind of a great sign of springtime and when the spring sports start, and so it's always a fun time of year.
And now, overall, just goals and aspirations for this program while you were here, and obviously you've had a chance to think about it. But what do you hope to accomplish here at Troy?
I make no mistake about it, and I'll continue to say this. I want us to be the premier program in the Sun Belt and beyond. But I think that's step one for us, and that means not It doesn't just mean winning football games. That's a great step, but it means the department as a whole winning that commissioner's trophy in the Sun Belt each year, or having an opportunity or being in a position to win it each year, which means you've had success across your department. That's what's important. I think that's where our focus is going to be, and then obviously allowing our student athletes to grow and become the best versions of themselves. That's really important to me, and it will be important to our coaches too. We're teachers first, and we'll remain focused in that area, and our student athletes will have an opportunity to grow and be prepared to handle the real world when they get there. And so those are the focuses for me, the things that are most important. And I'll never shy away from saying that winning is important, because it is. I think I talk about student athlete development, but learning how to win is a piece of that for me. And that's how it happened in my career, and I think that's important for all of our student athletes.
Well, looking forward to seeing those goals come to fruition here at Troy University. But before we let you go, got a couple of fun questions for you. First time you sit down here, we're going to find out a little bit more about you with some of our fun behind the headlines questions that are driving questions here. First one, what's your favorite food?
Favorite food? I'm an Italian food fan, so I'd probably have to say lasagna.
Lasagna.
Yeah. Can't go wrong there.
Can't go wrong there. Okay, favorite movie?
Favorite movie, being a baseball guy, I have to lean toward Field of Dreams. Even if you're not a baseball fan, that's one that's
it's a tearjerker. It's a popular answer.
Yeah, I'm sure. It's a good one. It's a classic.
There. And now, let's see, your favorite type of music?
I'm kind of all over the board. I like country, but I also like some maybe older rock type stuff too. Yeah.
And now, last book you read?
Last book I read, Good to Great by Jim Collins.
Okay.
It's, just about developing the best, about what the characteristics of a great organization and company are, and I think it ties into athletic departments too. And what are the things that make departments great? And
then last question here. When you get some free time, obviously you're going to be a busy guy right now, but when you get some free time, what do you like to do in your free time?
There's not a lot of that. I have 3 small children at home, so I really try to focus any free time I get on them. I enjoy playing golf. Not very good at it, but I enjoy it. I also like to hunt and fish a little bit when I get the opportunity. But those opportunities are few, but I enjoy that.
Well, you're going to be busy, and once again, welcome to Troy University. And I know the entire Trojan Nation is looking forward to seeing what you have up your sleeve and what you plan to accomplish while you're here. Thanks for joining us here on Trojan Sports Now. And thank you for joining us. Stay tuned after this break for what's coming up in Trojan athletics.